Hi there, Andre here from Mutt Motorcycles. I'm here in Birmingham on a sunny day at the end of August 2024, and I'm here at Mutt Motorcycles. And today I'm going to be riding this, which is their new Stravaig 400, which is a 400cc twin-cylinder adventure bike. So they're typically known for doing their more sort of classic sort of scrambler style 125s and 250s, in addition to their dark range. So I'm really looking forward to riding this. So I've had a quick look around it already, and you can see that in my other video. But yeah, I'm going to take it out and tell you what I think. Right then, here we go. This is my first ride on the Stravaig 400. It's a 401cc inline twin. Really looking forward to it. So I think I had mentioned that this dash is not the production dash, so please ignore that. There will be a TFT dash on the final version. There we go. So that 400cc engine is pretty quiet, actually. Just wheeling the bike back. Now I can fully flat foot this. I think it's got an 81cm seat height. Oh, try first gear. So let's see what this is like out on the road. Certainly seems to be a lot of lock there. Now then, this isn't a part of the world that I know at all, so I am somewhat reliant on my phone and Google Maps, which I know does obscure the dash. But as I said, it is a pre-production model. So the full one will have a TFT dash, so I think we will ignore that for now. Okay, and off we go. So first thoughts, it certainly feels quite compact. As I sort of bring my knees up, I can kind of feel the top of my knees just nestling up against the tank. It's not uncomfortable, but they are certainly quite a long way up, so that certainly feels they're a long way away from the ground. So I'm just doing a few little roads just to see how it's like around those, and so far so good. The steering is pretty light. The engine is, I'm trying to find a nice way to say this, it certainly seems like it's got plenty of low down torque. It does remind me of riding, you know, my sort of a 250 or a 300, but just without the need to really drive it hard. So I think now I'm doing what, 25 miles an hour, just pottering along, fourth gear, which I know I probably wouldn't do on my CRF 300. So this bike isn't particularly light. It's 215 kilograms curb weight, and I think that's with 18 litres of fuel, but I think that would give it a decent range. And for £5,000, you know, compromises have to be made. You know, bearing in mind that's with VAT in the UK at 20%, so really they're having to produce this with everything, design it, the whole lot, for about just over £4,000. So with that in mind, you're not going to get a super lightweight enduro machine. What you do get is quite a lot of these nice little touches. Even in daylight, I can see I've got these blue backlit controls which look rather good. I've got an ABS on-off switch on the right hand thumb, so if you do suddenly come off-road and you want to flip off the ABS, you can do that. The engine, I don't know if you can hear it revving there, but I'm still in fourth gear. You know, I gave it a bit just to get it moving, and it was very, very light on the clutch. You know, it's certainly an easy two-finger pull like that. The throttle is very light as well. So I think if you're coming from a 125 and maybe you've found, you know, bigger, more powerful bikes a bit intimidating, this is a very easy step. In fact, I'd go as far to say it feels as easy to ride as a 125. I should probably talk a little bit about the suspension. So it's not the finest, but it's also one of the better ones I think I've ridden in this price bracket. In my walk around video I did show you that it does seem to have adjustable forks, you know, with rebound and compression damping, I think, on the adjusters on the top, and certainly on these roads it's going over sort of undulations in the tarmac very easily. It also doesn't feel overly soft. You know, sometimes I've ridden bikes like this and when you grab a bit too much front brake it does dive a lot. So right now I'm in 6th and I'm in a 30 mile an hour zone, and it's just pottering along very, very happily in 6th gear. So it's not spluttering, it's not coughing, I'm not feeling like, even it slows down to 40, which is what, 25 miles an hour, and that torque is just there. Go left here. on the brakes. Super, it's really just clicks in the gears, and again, some bikes I've had, especially in the lower gears, you get a bit of a clunk. Let's see what this will do. That's third gear, and there is actually quite a nice sound from that exhaust at speed. Yeah, that hits 70 kilometers an hour pretty easily. Okay, under braking I do feel the suspension. Actually, you know what? No, I was going to say that's diving a bit too much, but I take that back. So what the back brake's like. Yep. So it's fourth. Let me try third. There we go. Third gear. Acceleration 25. And upwards, yeah, and above that, what was that? About 4,500 revs. Oh, 5,000. Above 5,000, it really does seem to pull, and is quite fun. In fact, I actually really like that. We're going here, round to the right. Now it's 215 kilos, which is pretty heavy, let's be honest, but I don't feel it. You know, the steering is super light, and around these country lanes, and yeah, I'm not going that quickly, I'm doing what, 40 miles an hour, something like that. It's about 50 miles an hour, fourth gear, fifth gear, and that's still got legs at 90, which must be, what, 55? It certainly feels like it's still got some way to go. I would say I'm pleasantly surprised by that. You know, I didn't have that high expectations for a bike that makes 36 horsepower at 215 kilos, but much like the Royal Enfield Meteor 350 that I rode, which only I think had 19, it pulled it along quite happily, and this is kind of the same, more than that even. Have to bear in mind that this bike is £5,000, and if you look at what else you can get for that, the market is somewhat limited. Yeah, there's definitely a change to the map or something above about 5,000 revs where you do just get that little bit more. And I think for me, acceleration out the corners is what motorcycling is all about. That's where you get your thrill. You know, just going fast in a straight line gets boring once you're up to speed. That's lovely. There you go. You know, easily do 50, easily do 60. That's even in fifth. I've still got another gear to go. And having that tractable power low down is great. Now what I'm also finding is that there is plenty of wind protection from that screen, which is nice. It is in its highest position. It is still easy to see through, but I'm not getting any buffeting at all as I come through here. I think there is a lot to like about this bike, and I'm delighted that there is another choice in this segment, because I think that these sort of lower powered adventure bikes really will offer a lot to a lot of people. And the 250s are fine, the 300s are a bit better, but certainly in this 400 to 450 category there is just that bit more about them that makes them just that bit more practical. And yeah, I know the weight isn't ideal, and some people will turn their nose up and say, nah, I'd rather get something else that's a little bit lighter, but it's not going to be £5,000. See what it'll do along here. It's 90, that's fifth, so that's hit, it's got one gear to go. So yeah, 60 miles an hour is certainly easily doable. That's doing what, 5,500, 6,000 revs. So it's probably not going to be a great motorway cruiser, but then again, that isn't that much fun. I think it will certainly cruise at 70, which is probably a desirable attribute. It's never going to compete with a big sports tourer, but then again, for £5,000 it probably isn't. You know, that would be 5,300 with the luggage, which I think is pretty good. What I do quite like about this is that it is a bike that you have to ride. Now that might sound like a stupid comment, you have to ride all bikes, but the fact that you can kind of take it up the rev range, what's that, 7,000, 8,000, fourth gear, fifth gear, sixth gear, and yeah, it will do 70 miles an hour. Now I'm getting a little bit of wind buffeting, but you could ride like that quite happily I think 100, so it will certainly do the speed limit. That's at 7,000 RPM. I'm getting a little bit of vibration in the mirrors, but not really any in the bars. Yeah, I could probably sit here for a while. I don't know if I'd want to do it all day, but then again, it's not that sort of bike. I'm coming up to the end of my test ride on the Mutt Stravaig 400, and I am quite impressed. I must admit, my biggest concern when I first heard the specs was that 215 kilos of weight, because that is that's at the heavier end for a bike like this. 36 horsepower is, I think, more down to the engine tune, so on its own, again, it sounds a bit low, but with the torque that it makes and the way it makes it, I think it's perfect. You know, it's one of the better engines in this category that I've come across. I know it's a twin, but it's super smooth. It pulls from the low end, and yeah, I think as a trail bike, I think it would be quite fun, certainly quite tractable. Haven't got to ride it off-road on this occasion. The engine itself is this 401cc unit that's made by Zhongshen. Now, if you've not heard of Zhongshen, they're one of the largest engine manufacturers in the world. They also make the 450 that goes in my Cove 450 Rally, albeit with the Cove re-engineered top end. They also make that same engine in a lower state of tune that goes into the Fantic 500 Caballeros. So they're certainly an established company, so it's not some fly-by-night, hard to get parts for company. You know, I think if the engine is your concern with an unknown manufacturer like this, then yeah, I think that is not something that anyone should have to worry about. Parts are available all around the world. These engines are used in all sorts of things. So I'm almost back at Mutt HQ. So when I get in there, I will just give you my last few thoughts. But I think, yeah, it's been a short test ride, but I've had a chance to ride it in town traffic where it felt light. I've had a chance to ride it on some country lanes where it impressed more than I thought it would, and I've had a chance to have a quick blast down a dual carriageway, all of which were rather good. Yeah, it's nice to see something new in this segment. And here we are. Even that is just super light. Really impressed. And we're done. So that's it. I am back at Mutt Motorcycles headquarters here near Birmingham, and I really enjoyed that. You know, I'm not really sure what I expected, but I think in this sector, just a 400 seems to be a really nice displacement. You know, it's never going to be super fast, but they can be produced at a price that makes them very economical, and I think this is certainly that. To have a bike like this at that price point, so £5,000, with an engine that really is quite fun to ride. You know, it's not huge, it's never going to win a drag race, but then again, I don't think it needs to. I think it's quite nicely spec'd. You know, the tubeless wheels are a nice touch. I know that others in this sector for a bit more money do come with tubeless wheels as well, if you can get them, but I know those have been hard to come by. So yeah, for a bike like this, LED lights, tubeless wheels, bash guard, USB charger, adjustable windscreen and luggage for £5,300, yeah, I think they're going to do really well. So looking forward to see what the TFT dash looks like on the final version, which will have the nice Mutt logo when it starts up. But for now, yeah, I'm gonna go and have a think about that. So I hope that's been interesting and useful. If it has, please check out my other content, and maybe I'll see you there. Thanks for watching. So here I am, arriving at Mutt Motorcycles, or at least I think I am. Maybe not the most conventional way to get in, but certainly possible on a motorcycle. Oh, there we go. Probably should have seen that a mile off. Maybe that's the entrance up in there.